Hello everyone, Paul Venice here. Scotty G is on Paddy Conroy's farm. He's doing his detox and it is what it is. I saw my friend and brother Danny Christie who went to the gym and it is what it is. What is up guys? That was my Paul Venice impression. One of my subscribers, I once did a video with my hat on backwards and he said Paul Venice from Wish, so that was for you. But anyway, today we're going to talk about Scotty G, what's been happening, and it seems like everybody and his fucking dog has jumped on the Scotty G bandwagon. All those that moved away from the dark side, which means they got evicted from the dark side, they've all come flooding back, talking about Scotty G, riding the wave. Even Bobby Three Teeth's made an appearance, and half of them have got absolutely no idea what they're talking about. You know, they might have once had a friend that was on drugs, so they might have seen it from a distance. And the other half are just telling us what we already know, because we've got YouTube as well. You know, we can watch it ourselves. So I thought, you know what, I'll do a video from the perspective of somebody who's been where Scotty is. Obviously, I've not been in Paddy Conroy's shed, but I've been in his position as an addict. You know, you all know my story. I used to be a heroin addict for years. Used to smoke crack, spent half my life in prison, got clean, got a job, got everything back, relapsed, lost it all. Then I was an alcoholic. I was on Valium, Xanax, pregabalin, gabapentin, and smoking crack every single day. So I've done, and I was fat as a pig, so I've done all the addictions except for spice. I've never used spice, and I've never used needles, which I'm strangely quite proud of. But you know, I know I'm a bit of an expert in this field, which is a bit of a weird flex, but in the words of Paul Venice, it is what it is. So, a little backstory. Scotty G is a drug addict, and what happened was, I know a lot of my listeners don't know who Scotty G is, so what happened was, the smoking sheriff he was having some back and forth with Scotty G, calling him a smackhead and, you know, doing, just being nasty towards him, making videos, humiliating him. And then it came about that Scotty was homeless and on the streets and struggling. So the bloated sheriff's put his Superman cape on, flown down there, picked him up off the streets and took him to Paddy Conroy's farm. And Paddy Conroy's, the plan was for Scotty to detox. You know, he was going to stay in Paddy Conroy's shed, put up a GoFundMe, give him loads of money, and you know, and everybody wanted him to succeed. But you know, he's a drug addict. So what we're seeing is Scotty failing because he's an addict and he's not ready to get clean. Like, I know when I got clean, I hit rock bottom. That's what you have to do. You have to hit rock bottom, you know, and there's none of that for Scotty, because all he's done is sit in a shed, smoking drugs. There's no passion. There's no motivation. You know, you never hear him talking about getting clean, what he's going to do, where he's going to go, you know. I know when I got clean, I was like, right, I'm doing this, you know, I'm at the lowest point in my life, I'm suicidal, I can't take this anymore, I'm getting clean, I'm going to walk through whatever fire, whatever misery I've got to go through, I'm going to go through it. And I did, you know, and anybody who was talking to me, I'm like, no, I'm getting clean, don't talk to me, leave me alone, I'm going to do this, I'm ready. And the passion was there, you know. But with Scotty, there is no passion. All you see is him sitting in a shed, doing drugs. The only passion he shows is towards the GoFundMes, begging for money and, you know, arguing all the time, lying all the time. He's a liability. He's telling everybody that people are drug dealing, and he's making Paddy look like an idiot. And that's what addiction does. It turns you into that guy. And the thing with Scotty is that, like, I can see a lot, you know, by the way people act. And my opinion on Scotty is he was that guy. When you're an addict, there's always that one guy who never goes grafting, never does anything, just sits in the corner and begs for drugs, begs for filters. Like people that use needles. When they use needles, they cook it up, put it in a spoon, put a filter in, filter it through, and then bang it in their arm. And on the filter, there'll be little traces of heroin. And there'll always be that one guy in the corner, which I reckon was probably someone like Scotty, who was always begging for filters, and he would get a couple filters and then he'd bang them up and he'd be sat like this off his head on 2 filters, you know. I mean, I was an addict for years, and very few times I was sat there like, you know, most of the time it was just to function. So Scotty is, I just think he's that guy, you know, he's just a beggar by trade, I suppose. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, you know, you get people like that in the world of addiction. But yeah, you have to hit rock bottom, and he's not going to hit rock bottom, is he? Because everybody's running around after him, you know, everybody's throwing money at him. He's got these GoFundMes, they're buying him stuff. So he's going to continue sitting in a shed and doing drugs and doing lives. I mean, I don't know why everyone's so obsessed with him. He offers nothing other than being a lol cow, you know. People can tune in to laugh at him. And I saw this the other day, right, and I might be tripping here because I can't believe what I was seeing. Scotty was doing what he does, sat in a shed off his head going, slavering and that. And then someone mentioned £200 and he like perked up and he was like, oh, you want to send me £200? I'll put it in the GoFundMe. And I'm like, fucking 200? Why? Why are you sending him £200? So he can do more drugs? What has he done to earn your £200? Do you not have kids? You know, is there not a better cause than buying drugs for a fucking junkie? Especially one that has got no appreciation for anything. You know, if that was me, right, and I've been a scumbag, I've been in some hard times, I would say, dude, I really appreciate this. Thank you. Thanks for everybody, you know, everybody that's putting the faith in me. I really appreciate it. I'm really going to try. You don't hear none of that from him. All you hear is him arguing about money, thinking that he's owed money. He's owed nothing. Nobody in this world is owed anything. You know, if people are nice and kind enough to give you and try and help you, you need to appreciate that, and you need to do people proud and say, you know what, even if I fail, I'm going to fucking try, I'm going to give it my all. And we're not seeing none of that from him. There's no plans, there's no motivations, there's no, you know, he's not even good at YouTube. He just slavers and mumbles, and it was funny, I've got to be honest. I kind of feel sorry for Paddy Conroy, you know, because he's looking like a bit of a knobhead here, you know. You can see he's trying to help Scotty, and Scotty's just blatantly taking a piss out of him. And Paddy Conroy's like an ex-gangster, you know, like a gangland enforcer or whatever. I don't know that much about Paddy. But, you know, he's getting taken advantage of here, and it's like he's not doing out about it. So he's in a tough spot, and I'm sure they regret bringing him in because it's an absolute mess. But it is funny watching him argue with Scotty, and Scotty's off his head like, and Conroy's saying, so how many tablets you had? How many tablets he had? Are you coherent? And Scotty's like, I've only had 3. He's like, what? So how many, you've had 3 tablets? I've only had 6. So you fucking said you had 3, and then, you know, it's funny. You know, it is funny. And so, you know, they're getting loads of views. I mean, there's tons of people tuning in. Everybody's jumping on the Scotty G wave, right? I suppose I am as well. But yeah, what we're seeing with him is just a junkie being a junkie. And, you know, obviously he's not ready to get clean. Obviously he won't be ready to get clean because he's not hitting rock bottom. Like, when I hit rock bottom, I was ready to do anything, and I mean, I would have walked through anything. I'd have run through walls to get clean because I was so fucking fed up. I was so miserable. I tried to take my own life. I couldn't even do that. And I was in a position, I thought everybody hated me. The world was against me. I was such a low point, and I said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm at rock bottom, and I'm going to get clean, and I'm going to fight. And that's what I did, and we're not seeing none of that from Scotty. He just wants to sit there and just get money and expects money now, you know. He's like, he's not appreciative for it at all because he's been given it, now he expects it, which is a typical beggar mentality. You know, you give them £1 and then they come back, that's like a green light. Then they want £2 and then they start expecting £3 and £4 and they come up like you owe them something. Nobody owes you anything. And then he was on about getting new teeth so he can look like Dougie Joy. That did make me laugh. But and then he's like talking about that. Someone said, "Oh, put a GoFundMe up," and he was like, "Hey, hit the nail on the head. GoFundMe." That's all he's bothered about. That's where his passion lies. Was with begging because he's a beggar. And when you get into that world of addiction, it makes you even worse. So anyway, that's my opinion. You know, it might sound harsh, But, you know, I've been there. So I know what it's like. I know what I'm talking about. And maybe it is too harsh, but that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm feeling. And people watching it are seeing it now. They're seeing what a horrible cunt he is, really. Yeah. Well, but anyway, that's my opinion on the whole Scotty G thing. Hopefully he can someday get himself together, find that passion, what he needs to change his life. But he's not there at the minute. Yeah, there's no plans, no motivations. He's just sat in a shed. I think he's going to end up getting kicked out. And he's playing with fire with Paddy Conroy. I don't know much about Paddy, but I know he's not to be trifled with, because he's reached the heights of, you know, there's documentaries about him. Him and his mates beat up the hardest man in the world, Brian Cockrell. So, you know, he's got to be about that life, hasn't he? Else he wouldn't have reached the heights what he's reached in that world. So, yeah, he's not to be played with. And Scotty's playing with him, so no homo. But I won't be surprised if he ends up in a ditch in the river. No, I'll take that back. That's going too far. But yeah, he's probably going to end up getting kicked out. And yeah, that's my opinion. So yeah, if you like this video, press the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Mange too, YouTube, Mange too.